Yeah, so there was, obviously before he was born, they were telling us, we want to make sure he's breathing, and then, that's the first hurdle, and thankfully he was. And then there was, he needs to be a certain weight before we will be able to take him home. They anticipated roughly about what it was. They said probably about a month to 6 weeks would be, our time frame. But then there was there's certain milestones. It's like he needs to be able to get out of the incubator and be in an open crib. He needs to be able to...
And maintain his body temperature.
Maintain the body temperature. He needs to be able to eat, on his own instead of just have the feeding tube. You're going to have to be able to, put a bottle and feed him on that.
He had to do a car seat test.
Yeah, a car seat test
to
was
make
kind
sure
of,
that his heart rate wouldn't drop while he was in a sitting position, and he was able to basically keep his head up enough so that he wasn't going to choke or suffocate.
He had more good days than bad days. We were lucky in that sense, and there were some days where minor setbacks, but for the most part, he made steady progress, and we were able to bring him home 30 days after he was born
January 2nd.
January 2nd.
We visited him in the NICU at least twice a day.
Yeah.
We would try to go in the mornings to do the feedings. Later in his NICU stay, we would do the feedings, the diaper change. In the beginning, it was more just observing, learning about him and his progress, talking to the nurses. What was his weight gain today? Did he have any milestones today? Reading him a story, and then going back in the evenings, doing the same thing, feedings or diaper changes, reading him a book, staying there until shift change, and they would tell us we would have to leave, and we would go home and come back in first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And
you were, we had to deliver milk. We had to, there was reasons we had to be there, obviously, for that, but, wanted to be there too, to spend as much time with them. It's a very difficult and surreal feeling to walk out of the hospital without your child, especially when I took her home. It was supposed to be 3 of us leaving, and it was only 2 of us. So that's not something I think that you could ever really prepare for. Like, we knew they told us that he was going to be staying there. On one level, understood this was happening, but I don't think I emotionally understood that until we actually left together and was like, he's still here. Like, this isn't right, but it's, what it had to be.
the good thing, I think, or the only silver lining about having to leave him in the NICU was the doctors and the nurses. We completely trusted them. They were so comforting to us, and we knew that they were in the best hand. He was in the best hands with them. Yeah. They would ask us questions. What are you feeling? What are you thinking right now? And at one point, I think, shortly after I was discharged, and we were visiting, and one of the nurses said, "Oh my God, you guys are so tired. Go home and sleep. You need to sleep." And because we thought we had to adhere to this strict pumping schedule, and so we weren't sleeping at home, and on top of just being worried and nervous the whole time. And it was almost like she granted us the permission we were looking for to just sleep and take care of ourselves. And that was, I think, a major turning point for us, which was very early on in the NICU stay.
Yeah, a couple days.
So our initial feeding plan was formula before all the complications. We had made that decision together. Adam wanted to be involved in the feedings, so we had decided to do the formula route. The doctors alerted me to the importance of breast milk to preemie babies, and my decision immediately changed. I said, yes, whatever you need, of course. And they said, you only need to do it for 2 weeks. If that's all you can do, that's all that he needs. And I actually, continued on a lot longer than I anticipated, and I don't know if that was mommy guilt or not, but we were told to pump 7 to 8 times a day, and Adam was very supportive in that entire process. He would get up with me overnight, he would stay with me, and then he would clean up, and we would do this 7 to 8 times a day. And then once the nurse had said, you guys need to sleep, cut out a pump and get that chunk of time. It was 4 or 5 hour block of sleep, and it was like we were new people after
Yes.
waking up after 4 or 5 hours.
It was a game changer for sure.